What if I told you, some of the darkest, most shocking events in human history were quietly removed from textbooks? Not because they didn't happen, but because they were uncomfortable, political, or embarrassing. History isn't just written by winners, it's edited by them. Today, we're uncovering 10 shocking facts that were erased, hidden, or ignored in history books, events so disturbing, they were buried for decades. Let's begin. 10. The Tulsa Race Massacre, 1921. In 1921, one of the wealthiest black communities in America, known as Black Wall Street, was burned to the ground. White mobs destroyed homes, businesses, and killed hundreds of residents. Airplanes were even used to drop explosives, something rarely mentioned in school. For decades, this massacre was barely taught in U.S. history classes. Survivors were silenced. Records disappeared. It wasn't until the 2000s that many Americans even learned it happened. 9. Japan's Unit 731 Human Experiments. During World War II, a secret Japanese military unit conducted live human experiments. Prisoners were frozen alive, infected with plague, and dissected without anesthesia. Thousands died. After the war, many of the scientists avoided punishment by trading their research data for immunity. This horrifying program was rarely discussed in textbooks for years, even inside Japan. 8. The Philippine-American War. After the Spanish-American War, the U.S. promised independence to the Philippines. Instead, America occupied the country. A brutal war followed, killing hundreds of thousands of Filipino civilians. Entire villages were burned. Torture methods were used. Yet for decades, U.S. textbooks described this conflict as a simple insurrection, not a war. 7. The Congo atrocities under King Leopold II. Belgium's King Leopold II treated the Congo as his personal property. Workers were forced into slavery to harvest rubber. If quotas weren't met, hands were cut off. Millions died from violence, starvation, and disease. Some historians estimate up to 10 million deaths. Despite being one of history's worst colonial crimes, this genocide was minimized in European education for decades. 6. The Forgotten Cambodian Genocide. Between 1975 and 1979, the Khmer Rouge regime killed nearly a quarter of Cambodia's population. Intellectuals, teachers, and even people who wore glasses were executed. Cities were emptied. Families were destroyed. Yet outside Southeast Asia, this genocide was barely covered in classrooms for years. One of the 20th century's worst tragedies, almost erased by silence. 5. Indigenous genocide in the Americas. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, indigenous populations collapsed. Violence, forced labor, displacement, and disease wiped out entire civilizations. Some estimates say up to 90% of native populations died. Yet older textbooks framed colonization as exploration and progress, not catastrophe. Only recently has the scale of destruction been openly discussed. 4. The Bataan Death March. During World War II, thousands of Filipino and American prisoners were forced to march over 100 kilometers without food or water. Those who fell behind were beaten or executed. Thousands died along the way. Outside the Philippines and the U.S., this event received little attention in history education despite its brutality. 3. The Great Bengal Famine, 1943. During British colonial rule, food policies worsened to famine in India. Around 3 million people starved to death. Grain exports continued while civilians died in the streets. Photographs show entire families collapsed from hunger. For decades, this tragedy was rarely discussed in British education. 2. The Aksumite Empire's lost legacy. Africa once had empires as powerful as Rome and Persia. The Aksumite Empire, located in modern Ethiopia, was a global trading power with advanced architecture, currency, and engineering. Yet many world history books barely mentioned it. Entire African civilizations were minimized or ignored, creating a false narrative that progress only came from Europe. 1. The Armenian Genocide. During World War I, over 1 million Armenians were systematically deported and killed by the Ottoman Empire. Many countries avoided calling it genocide due to political pressure. For decades, it was left out or softened in textbooks worldwide. Even today, debates over terminology show how history can still be controlled. History isn't just about what's written. It's about what's missing. Every nation edits its past, sometimes to protect pride, sometimes to avoid guilt. But the truth has a way of resurfacing. Because the stories erased from textbooks are often the ones we most need to remember. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe for more hidden history and forgotten truths. Because the past is never really gone. It's just waiting to be uncovered.